we're on. You're being bullied, Maria. Write in chat if you're being bullied. That's what we need. So safe words. The Smart Claims platform, if you haven't seen, is where we'll be distributing the Gimbal Labs tokens. And in the last week and a half, we've got the final tweaks done to that platform now. So the actual token itself is now rendering correctly in terms of the logo and also the amount of tokens you can claim. So if I just run you through that process again, I need to do my screen share.
We tried to go through the smart things last week. And we just went around and it didn't go through. I just waited an hour.
Oh, really?
So maybe I did something wrong, or I didn't know. And then I haven't tried later. So.
Okay, well, let's see what it does. So you can see my stream this time. And I'm going to go into my Eternl wallet first. So this is in the same browser. That's one thing to take note of. You have to be in the same browser to connect the DApp, the Smart Claims DApp. So in my stake data wallet, I'm going to turn on my DApp connector, which means that this is the wallet that will be checked for the rewards in Smart Claims. Then I can come over to Smart Claims platform, which is smartclaims.io. In fact, I'll just take that off and then copy and paste that into the chat again so you can see it. Chat's up here. And then I dive back into Smart Claims. I can now connect my wallet. They've got a terms of service, which you can go ahead and read if you're diligent. Click Eternl, in my case, because I'm connecting my Eternl wallet. It will then have this little spinny icon top right that you probably missed. And it's showing me now the first portion of my receive address from that wallet. I can then click on rewards, click on claims, and it'll search for the tokens that I'm eligible to go and collect. So there are two tiers that everybody who delegates to Fluid Pool should qualify for. There is one tier, which is above the ones that we qualify for, and that's if you are a delegate to Gimbal or Peace pools. Peace and Gimbal are run by Roberto and James, and they are the founders of Gimbal Labs. Gimbal Labs is a Project Catalyst birthed team, along with Julie Montag. They created a education program, really, and also a decentralized infrastructure mechanism protocol for Cardano. So the current thing they're working on is Plutus project-based learning, where you can go in, get educated on Plutus and related technologies to start your path on the way down to becoming a Plutus developer, which means that you'll be a developer for Cardano's network. So you can actually go ahead and build out your own apps, applications, dApps, like this Smart Claims one. You need to have someone at least in there who knows a bit of Plutus to interact with the blockchain directly using a smart contract. So the Gimbal Labs team also have run a tokenomics project, which I was involved in last year, and it's still ongoing, in fact. And now we are launching this onto the Smart Claims platform so that people can receive the Gimbal token for being a participant in the Cardano network. So if you are delegated to a stake pool, you can earn some tokens. So in this case, you can either stake to Gimbal and Peace pools, where you get the top tier, and that's your highest rate of return for Gimbal tokens. Then if you are in a Friends of Gimbal Labs pool, so that would be a Fluid Pool and several others as well, which I'll get a list together for and drop that into the chat. Then you are earning a second tier of tokens. And then also there is an additional tier of tokens if you are a member of the extra small stake pool alliance. So the XSPO alliance, which Fluid Pool is also a member of, means that we qualify for the third tier. So in this case, all of you guys can go in and grab 2 lots of tokens each epoch if you so choose. However, remember on smart claims, the tokens do accrue over time. So on DripDrop, you have to go every epoch. Smart claims, you can go in every month or something like that and pick up all the tokens from those previous 4 or 5 epochs.
So Jonathan, there's 2 types of like Gimbal we are getting because of the epoch.
They're not 2 different types of gimbal. It's the one fungible token.
Like it's the same Gimbal, but it's because the one I'm doing at the same time in my laptop.
Okay.
It's so like 2 different. So why is the 2? Why like in one combined?
So one is for those tiers that I was just explaining. So I'm getting, in my case here, I'm getting 64 gimbals for being part of the extra small stake pool alliance. And then I'm getting 128 tokens for being delegated to Fluid Pool, who is also a friend of Gimbal Labs. So I qualify for 2 of those tiers, and so do all of you, because you're with Fluid Pool.
Thank you.
Yeah. So now I don't even know if Gimbal and Peace Pools are part of the extra small stake pool alliance, but I should probably get them to get on top of that, because then they can qualify for 2 tiers as well. But yeah, that's the basis, and that's where we've got 2 options to collect. So I'm going to go ahead and click claim all and submit my claim for these tokens. I'm also going to get up my Bit1 account. So let me just check, see if that is shared with you. So you're just getting my smart claims screen, not the Eternl pop-up. So I'm just going to make that show for you instead as well. So I've got a pop-up window now, which is showing me the Eternl signing screen, which I'll switch to sharing now. And if we just examine this transaction, we can have a look at a little bit and start to familiarize ourselves with the workings of transactions on Cardano. So you can see here they've got a special purple tag, which is specifically telling you that it's a smart claims transaction. So you'll be collecting tokens from smart claims. It's not been signed yet, so the signing is your part. You'll be signing the transaction to make sure that it actually goes on chain, and it is being paid. You are interacting with the script, with a smart contract. In this case, it's a native script on Cardano. They have native script, and they also have smart contracts. There's a slight difference between them. Native script is built into that layer 1 protocol. Smart contracts are an additional mechanism built on top of that. So you'll be dealing with third-party code as opposed to just IOG code. In native script, you're really just dealing with IOG code. IOG being the founding company that built Cardano. So then we've got red numbers, which are always important to take a look at in transactions. Red numbers mean that it is tokens leaving your wallet when you sign this transaction. So here we can see we've got 1.9 ADA leaving the wallet. That is your fee for being able to collect the Gimbal tokens. And you can see straight away back into the wallet we'll be getting plus 193 Gimbal tokens. So that's the tokens that I'm going to receive back as part of signing this script, this native script. There is a transaction fee in there as well of 0.22 ADA. So that'll come off that 1.9, and that is the fee that goes to the Cardano blockchain to pay for all the infrastructure. So that fee, in fact, 20% of that will be carved off and given to Project Catalyst, and the rest will go to I think the whole of the rest of it goes to paying for the network. So that is for stake pool operator rewards, etc., etc. Any questions on that screen while we're here?
Jonathan, for the say for example, when we are receiving the tokens and the any other like the drip drops or Toshi drop, then we need to pay the fee, like receive account. We have to put address and then put the money like a Cardano. But this one it looks like it's deducting from the Gimbal tokens by itself, so that we don't have to put the address, receiving address, and send address, and then sending the ADA. Is that correct?
Exactly, yeah. So instead of you having to find the receive address manually and paste it into the website, like on DripDrops, it's using the DApp connector. So TosyDrop has a DApp connector. I haven't checked on DripDrops for a while, but the DApp connector means you just tell the wallet that it's allowed to talk to this DApp, this decentralized application, and then it will work out the addresses for you. So in this case, I've connected my staked ADA wallet, which you can see in the top right, to the DApp. That's got the DApp connector switched on in Eternl, which means that when the website tried to talk to the DApp connector, it found the staked ADA wallet, and that's the one it'll be sending the Gimbal Labs tokens into, and it'll be using the staked ADA wallet to pay for the transactions and for the platform fee. So yeah, all that gets worked out for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a step, like easier and convenient for us instead of like putting the address and everything. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it should be a little quicker. Go ahead.
Sorry, Jonathan. So how periodically? I know we did Gimbal with the other one, DripDrop and all that. You need to go periodically every epoch, or try to get your claim. But in this scenario, do we need to go periodically as well in claiming to claim, or it's just sort of like once a month maybe? Because how do we know what we need to claim?
Yeah, I would probably go once a month. I mean, the only thing that happens every epoch is that the distribution happens so that your eligibility for new tokens is given to you. So when you go and check on smart claims to see what tokens you can receive, then that number should go up every 5 days. So if you're interested in just seeing how much you can claim, you can drop in smart claims, switch on your DApp connector, and just see how much there is to claim. And if you want to just leave that there, that's fine. You can leave it there for a month or two without worrying about it. If you think there's enough there that's worth claiming, perhaps you've seen an opportunity to use your Gimbal token somewhere else, then you can go and claim them. The only reason for deferring is because you pay a transaction fee each time. So if you want to maximize your claim and minimize your transaction fees, then just do it every so often. But I mean, it's a tiny transaction fee anyway on Cardano, so it's not the end of the world if you're paying 0.2 of an ADA every 5 days if you're very keen. But also there's a sort of a mental overhead of having to go in every 5 days, check to see how much there is, go and collect them. If you forget one day, there's on DripDrop's platform, then it's gone. You've lost the opportunity to collect them. On smart claims, it's very smart. You can just leave it there, it'll accrue over time, and then you can pick them up at a schedule that's convenient to you. So once a month is probably what I'll be doing. But you can stretch it longer. So the only limitation to that is if the number of tokens in that pool, in that treasury. So the Gimbal Labs tokenomics project have given us an allocation of tokens to distribute on the smart claims platform. And obviously everybody will be collecting every 5 days from it. So that balance will diminish over time. And if you go too late to try and pick them up, then they may all be gone. So I'll show you, after I've signed this transaction, I'll show you where you can check on that treasury to see how many Gimbal tokens are in there. As long as there's enough to fill your request for tokens, then you'll be fine. But I'm not, it's not set in stone yet, but I imagine that this will be a regular technique for Gimbal tokens to ensure that the tokens are getting handed into the hands of the community, that people are able to pick them up and use them. And the the idea for the Gimbal token is that it is very much a community-driven token. So there isn't a large pot of it being kept by the founding team. There isn't a large pot being given to venture capitalists. There's no private sale beforehand. It's being given out for people who are working within Gimbal Labs, who are working in the Cardano community, who are participating in the network, to try and really spread the token to the grassroots level so that we can make use of it. Maria, you just drop off to go and get your daughter. That's fine. See you in a bit. So
One
yeah,
more question then.
yeah.
In case of DripDrop, there's a various point that right?
Sorry,
But my claim is
you're dropping out a little bit.
Gimbal.
Perhaps come.
Sorry, I'm just wondering about DripDrop scenario. We can claim various points, not only normal tokens, right? But in case of this claim is it only for Gimbal, or you can also claim other coins as well, just like in the DripDrop.
It all depends on which pool you're staked with. So if you've got other wallets delegated to other pools, then you can go and check to see what tokens you can claim from those. So on smart claims, they've only got a limited number of tokens available for distribution because it's quite a young platform. And at the moment, the only tokens you can collect from being staked to Fluid Pool is Gimbal tokens. So yeah, at the moment, smart claims will get you Gimbal tokens. You can go on to DripDrops and see all the other tokens that are eligible for by being a Fluid Pool delegator. You can also check on TosiDrop, where at one point we picked up audit tokens. We had the indie tokens, which we were able to claim as well. And so, yeah, all these different distribution platforms all have different metrics for who's eligible to receive tokens and how many you can receive over what period of time. So there's a broad swathe of stuff to look at and play with if you want to. I would say it's worth looking at TosiDrop to see what's on there, because it seems to me that a lot of the community-driven projects that have tokens of value are being considered more slowly, more carefully on the TosiDrop platform, on smart claims, whereas DripDrops is really it was first to market. It's picked up a broad part of the market, part of the audience, and so it's ended up with a whole load of tokens on there, some of which will go to nothing, some of which will be valuable still, like the Sunday swap tokens we were able to collect from there. But it's certainly less work looking at TosiDrop and smart claims, and of course there's the vending machine platform as well, which is also the engine for TosiDrop. So TosiDrop's like a user interface built onto the vending machine distribution platform. So yeah, there's things to do. I would check smart claims and TosiDrop and probably be done with it. That's probably my personal techniques, because I can't be doing with the overhead of trying to get through DripDrop's thousands of tokens that they're offering us. So I like to keep it simple. So unless I hear of a specific token that's coming through on another platform, I probably won't be checking. I'll just be looking at the Gimbal tokens. Great. So I've got my passphrase.
Yeah.
No problem. I've got my spending passphrase for this transaction, and I will sign this transaction, and then it'll drop me back to the Brave browser that I use. If I share that screen now as well. I wasn't looking at the screen, so I don't know whether the transaction actually went through or not. Let me try refreshing. Okay. Yeah, so this is an ongoing bug, actually. It did one part of the order and not the other. So that is something that I mentioned in a bug report, and they were going to go and investigate just last week. So they're obviously still working on that. But if I go back to my Eternl wallet,
This is coming as like a failure kind of thing.
HTTP failure.
did you see the message when you tried?
It's a message showing a failure.
HTTP failure.
402 something.
Okay.
Right?
Were you able to pick up any of the tokens?
No, it's still there, and then it went to the smart claims screen, and it's still there.
The error
You
message is
can
still
claim
showing.
again.
Okay. And both sets of gimbals are
Both
available.
are there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So on mine, one of them has cleared, which means that one of the transactions has happened. So we'll look at yours in a second. So if I look here in my wallet, I can look at the transactions, and I can see that this has sent me 193 Gimbal tokens, which is in fact, I can't remember now how many tokens I was allocated. I think that's the total, isn't it? I think that was, I think that the sum of the two batches were 193. So yeah, there's something still wrong, because I can then go ahead and claim another 64. So I'll definitely chase the team up on that, and give them this video as well so they can debug. But yeah, that's interesting. So I guess it's probably best not for you to share your wallet, but if you can, have you got the error message showing still on yours?
Yeah, so I just did the screenshot.
Yeah, if you could screenshot
forward that.
and send that on to me, I'll have a look. This is the sort of, this is how early we are to the space. We're involved in projects that are building still, that are using new techniques, new technologies, and new capabilities. And so there are bugs, and there are bug reports, and then there are fixes that come through, and the ecosystem grows. And so, as part of the rewarding mechanism for being involved in all these things, that's what's, that's one of the benefits. So let me just check that screenshot now. I've just been sent. Perfect. Actually, it's a little small. Let me put it in the browser.
Very small, I think.
Okay. Error 412.
Can you see? Oh.
Yeah. So an error 412. I don't actually know off by heart. Precondition failed client error response. Access to the target has also been denied. So did you definitely have your... So you got the prompt for the signing screen in Eternl, is that right?
Yeah. So I have the available rewards as well. Shall I send that one to you from the screenshot?
Thank you. Yeah, perfect. All right, I'll send those in, and we'll see if we can get the team to have a look and try and correct it. Good. Okay, but in principle, that's how it works. So if anybody else wants to try and see what their results are, I can definitely pick up tokens. I just think there's something wrong with getting two at once. And
Maybe try the another folder one, because I do have a different folder as well. So shall I try the next one? Maybe it's got the same problem, or yeah, maybe I'll try.
You could try. I suspect it'll probably be the same issue. because you're getting a denied message rather than an error message, like a bug message. So there's some connection issue. Maybe it's the DApp connector or something like that. But perhaps we can grab a little time together, and you can screen share with me, and we can try and debug a bit more for the team later. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Thank you, Jonathan.
Cool. Okay. So any other questions around smart claims and grabbing your tokens? If you haven't tried, I'd be very appreciative of you giving it a go. We haven't made the official announcement of the Gimbal Tokens distribution through smart claims yet. So if we can iron out all these little bugs first before we start pushing it, doing marketing.
I've just tried, Jonathan, but when I click connect, the Eternl window pop up, the Eternl wallet window pop up, and then I can't actually click connect. So I'll probably speak to you another time offline.
Okay, yeah, that'd be useful as well.
I'll give it another go later today.
Okay, great. And we'll pick up those reports and get them sent into the team, see if we can get them resolved.
Okay.
We were the only winners then, because we got ours last week, both lots.
Oh, great. So yeah, definitely works for some, but ironing out all these little niggles. This is the unseen work that goes on behind every single website and web app, and has done for decades. There's always so many different parties at play, different web browsers, different operating systems, different firewalls on different routers. All of these can play into what gets through and what doesn't. And once you have this broad swathe of conditions that you meet, everything works smoothly. But getting to that point can be difficult. Cool. Okay. So anybody?
Hi, Jonathan, sorry, it's Archie here.
Hi, Archie.
I joined the call late, so sorry for that. I missed. So do we? Because I noticed that there were Gimbal tokens in my wallet. So am I right in thinking that we actually have to claim those? They're not just sitting there. Is that correct? What we're discussing.
No. So you are a early OG of Fluid Pool. So you received Gimbal tokens as an airdrop for just being around for so long. So those are yours already. They're in your wallet. We're discussing the ability to now go and regularly collect more Gimbal tokens. And so for those, for these ones, you'll be paying a transaction fee each time and a fee to the distribution platform. But yeah, you've got the opportunity now to grow your bags of Gimbal Labs tokens.
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for that, Jonathan. I do appreciate it. I know I still haven't got around to emailing you, Jonathan. I know that was from a week ago, but I will. You know, that issue I'm having with my Euroi wallet not showing.
Oh yes.
I actually
your full balance.
The balance on Pool,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and in Fluid 7 is correct, but for some reason it's not correct on my Euroi wallet. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure that is down to the complexity of the wallet infrastructure. So, like, if you look in Eternl, it gives you the full information. So I was talking to Dinesh earlier. Eternl is a very complex interface, but all the information is there. Euroi is very stripped back, simple, easy to use, except it's now a little bit long in the tooth, so it's starting to fall behind in terms of some of its capabilities. So, like in Eternl, if I look at my UTXO list, on Cardano, everything is paid for in a similar sort of fashion to cash. So inside my wallet, I've got a load of ADA. So I've got 164 ADA, but that ADA is split up into chunks of cash, and I sort of think of them as denominations. Like I've got a £20 note, I've got a £40 note, I've got a £23.2 note. And so each of those are called an input, or UTXO input. And to make a transaction, to form a transaction, you need your input, and that's where the source of the tokens will be from your wallet, and then you have your output, which will be the destination that is going to. And you can only use an input that is a whole chunk of the possible UTXOs in your wallet. So here in Eternl, you can actually explore the UTXOs. So you can see I've got three of them. Three of my UTXOs are.
Are you actually sharing your? Sorry, Jonathan. You're actually sharing your screen at the moment.
Yes. Is anybody else seeing that? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay. So.
Oh, okay. No, I can't. It must be my connection.
Check for another window in the grid, because the screen share is always different from my face in Discord when you're sharing.
Yes, I just got the blue squares sort of
spinning.
Yeah, going round at the moment, but I think I've just got
you maybe
an issue.
Try disconnecting and reconnecting. That sometimes triggers it.
Yes. I'll do that.
Switch it on, switch it off, switch it off, switch it on again. Typical. So yeah, I've got in this wallet I've got 60 UTXOs sitting on 24 different addresses. So to form a transaction, it will take one of those, and if it's big enough to fulfill the outputs, so if I'm buying something that's worth 50 ADA and I've got a UTXO that is bigger than 50 ADA, then I can do it in that one UTXO. Like in this instance, I've got a 4. The balance on that UTXO is 4. This one is 2. This one is 5. And so it'll need to gather several of those UTXOs as inputs to then give me a 50 ADA output. And so that's how it's forming the transactions. And so that can get quite complex for any wallet to sort of accurately tell you what's going on. And I think that's where Yoroi is starting to fall behind, just in the formulation of some of these complex transactions, UTXOs missing. You can also have different states for the UTXOs in the wallet. Some of them can be locked. And typically when you're interacting with an application like Smart Claims, and this could in fact be your issue, Jaya, is that so when you're interacting with a smart contract or a native script, I believe, you need to have collateral locked in your wallet. Chances are you've done that already, but that can sometimes then drift out of being a functional collateral. So when you're on your wallet, you can click on settings in Eternl, and then you've got this collateral toggle here, and that means that you'll reserve a chunk of 5 ADA typically that will be used to set off in a transaction. There's a bit of a note. It's complex. You don't need to know it, but if you are interested, you can go in and figure out all these little things. So it might be that actually, Jai, we need to reset your collateral or gather your UTXOs together to try and rationalize your wallet a bit before you can collect.
In my collateral it's not blue, it's white.
Okay, so maybe try just switching that on.
Okay.
And it might ask you to sign a transaction to make sure that you've got that 5 ADA collateral sitting there. But try that first, and then try redoing a smart claim and see if that makes a difference for you. And sometimes it's directly related to collateral. Sometimes it's just a case of having another transaction go through the wallet, then things start to click. So yeah, it's a very stable and secure method of working that gives us a whole load of additional utility that we'll be able to make use of down the road. But at the moment, it's just complexity that is giving developers of wallets a large amount of work to do to get things right. So some of the functionality that will probably build off the back of this down the road is the ability to actually exchange funds between wallets that aren't connected to the internet. So you can have a peer-to-peer payment that will form a complete transaction, accurately described transaction, that doesn't actually have to go on chain until a later date. So we've already seen that in action ourselves in the multi-signature wallet that we're using for the Astarter treasury. So the Astarter investment private sale we've got access to, we created a multi-signature wallet that lets us, Paul's a witness on that wallet, Carol is as well, and Hayden and Luca, and we can sign the transactions all offline. So we're not connected to the internet, we're not talking to the blockchain. We form a transaction and then it gets passed between each of us, and we can sign it all offline. And then any one of us can, it doesn't even have to be one of the witnesses, can then go take that transaction, take all the signatures that have been assigned to that transaction, and put them all online on chain at the same time, and that transaction will be signed and go live. But in the meantime, the funds that have been used to form that transaction are reserved and are secured, so it's definite that they can be paid when you do get back online again. So all those sorts of abilities will be really powerful for utility, like developing countries who may not have permanent internet connections. They can still participate in the chain activity periodically, rather than having constant live connections all the time. So if you're trekking up Everest, no network connection, you can still pay your poker game debts to each other in ADA tokens, and then actually when you get back down off the mountain to civilization again, you can actually put those transactions on chain and have your funds transferred and made part of the public record rather than just your private one. So yeah, fascinating capabilities, all built within the software. There was one, was it Luca sharing this morning about DeFi potentially creating or reducing the transaction expenses of modern banking by 80%. So that's a significant savings that currently is being taken by middlemen, by banks, that can be plowed back into the economy. And adding an 80% in the transaction fees and expenses from the banks back into everyone's pockets is a really healthy move for the world, and that is a capability built into modern financial infrastructures like Cardano that just aren't a part of our traditional systems. But saying that, I'm already seeing influence in our banking systems, improvements being made as a result of the activity that's happening in DeFi and in crypto. Like this morning or yesterday, I went onto my HSBC app, which is my fiat world bank, and they now are offering a free account that has the capabilities of offering global money exchange, and there are no HSBC fees incorporated in those transactions. So whereas before I'd be paying like €20 SEPA for cross-border transactions fee, now I can actually have it all within my interbank wallet. So it's probably only to HSBC clients, but I can actually be paying people fee-free in different currencies. And so that's a change that's been forced on the fiat world by the emergence of digital banks and crypto technologies. The competition is increased and competitiveness goes up and features come down in price. And that's a result of this sort of activity that we're doing here. So it's good, all healthy movements. Any questions you want to jump in on?
Sorry, I'm trying to do this after the collateral on.
Yeah.
And went to that streams, it says earlier on there were two tokens, like Gimbal tokens, 91 and 40 something, but now it just shows only one after collateral on. Is there something did I do wrong, or
The balance is still the same?
no? It's just one available rewards, and it just says like 40.93 claim token.
Oh, okay.
It didn't come like before.
So maybe one of them did get signed. So if you look in Eternl at the if you go to your wallet and then look at transactions, and it will show you your history of transactions. Perhaps in there you'll see a smart claims transaction like I have.
Is it +122 something like that maybe?
Yeah, so there should be that purple tag that makes it easy to identify as a smart claims transaction.
Yeah, I think maybe that's done.
Okay.
129.55. It looks like the purple one is there as well, so that means it already come through.
Yes, so
Yeah.
it sounds like you had the same issue as I did. So it made the transaction, but gave you an error message on the DApp, and it's still letting you collect from the second lot. So I think if you tried again, you'd actually be getting more Gimbal tokens. Like from my investigation this morning, just now, I think you'd be getting more Gimbal tokens than you've actually been allowed to have. So if you want to hack the system, go and grab them now. Go and grab them now, quick. Because that I'm sure that's a bug that will need to get fixed. So maybe by next week you won't have that ability anymore. So, but yeah, okay, good. So at least it's working to a certain extent. You're able to get your allocation, even though it's showing you some errors. Cool. So that's the same situation as I'm in.
It says successfully transmitted.
Okay, so yeah, it's got that second lot. Yeah.
I get 40 as well, extra 10.
Yeah, good. So there you go. So it's an incentive for us to get this code fixed because people are collecting more tokens than they should.
Question, Jonathan?
Yes.
You kindly made mention about the teddy bear airdrop. I've joined it in Discord and
Telegram.
The other one was.
Telegram, yeah.
Do you have to connect a wallet to it?
So I didn't spend a lot of time looking, but yes, in Discord, I saw that there was a prompt to attach a wallet, to register a wallet in Discord, and that will be where the airdrop gets sent if you qualify. So there were different tiers, I think, depending on how early you managed to get in to the Discord server and Telegram, depending, like they'll have taken snapshots at various points, and you'll have a larger reward the earlier you got in. So I think the wallet registration probably can happen a bit more slowly. But if you go to the Discord server, how can I share this? I think I'll have to do it through the Brave browser. Let's see if that lets me. No, it'll have to be in Firefox. So maybe in your Discord, if you just go to the Teddy Swap server, and I'll try and find it in my yep. So under welcome, I think you can go to excuse me. Is it under welcome or was it under wallet registration? Do you see the wallet registration channel? No, you can't see the message history there. A verify channel. So have you verified your account on Discord?
Yeah, I can see all the messages that are there, but when I click on the wallet registration, it just basically blinks me.
Yeah, so I'm blanked as well, but I did register my wallet. So I think that's just a channel that we can't post in and can't see the history. And I can't remember now where I saw the instructions on how to register a wallet. and it's something like just /register, and then it'll prompt you for the wallet address. Let me see. All right. Actually, what I can do is perhaps search for my conversation history. And see what I typed in. So I got hello. And then there it's not got my messaging history. I think it was just in the welcome channel that I typed it, and it was something like, oh, was it /wallet maybe? You know, the / you can do for interacting with HazelNetBot on Fluid Pools Discord. They've got a similar thing in Teddy Swap, but I can't remember what the instruction was.
Yeah.
And I'd done.
I'm gonna also try it with maybe one of the the Nami wallet with one of my smaller wallets, just in case.
Mm.
Yeah, instead of obviously putting it into a major one of my wallets.
Yeah, I mean, all it's doing is asking for your receive address, and they can't do anything with that other than send money into it. So there's no risk in that regard. But I don't know. Maybe they've even switched off the wallet registration because it's not prompting me with the same things that it did originally. But yeah, you're in. So hopefully they'll have taken a snapshot and caught your actual registration, and you'll qualify. So yeah, it was one of these things that just suddenly cropped up on my Twitter feed. I think it was actually one of the XSBO Alliance guys said, Teddy Swap are doing an airdrop, go and register now. And I dived in and reposted it to the Fluid Pool Discord. And these things are very difficult to know what's going to be worth anything and whether to pay attention to it, let alone catch the window that it's announced at and you can dive in on it. So we made an attempt. We'll find out later whether we've been successful or not, and that can be the case for any of these projects as they launch in and around the ecosystem. And typically what they'll do is they'll create a snapshot of people on their servers, on their socials at a particular point in time, and then down the road they'll actually say what the conditions were for qualifying for their airdrop and how much the airdrop will be. But that's another way to sometimes do really well. So I got into the Liquid Finance Discord and qualified for their airdrop, which was a very, very lucrative one. I haven't seen anything like anywhere near that sort of level since then, but I do keep an eye out and try and prompt you if anything does come up. So yeah, we'll see. We'll find out. But yeah, thanks for the reminder.
Cool. So with regards to like Twitter, which you probably made mention of, how do you find out these options? Is there a certain link, or do you have to be like yourself, get an SPO to get the notifications?
Yeah, it depends who you're friends with, who you're following, to know who's going to announce it. So if you go on my Twitter, which is @Fluid7, then you'll see a list of, I think on my profile, can I get this up on, I don't think I can get this up on Brave either. So let me stop sharing Brave and try sharing Firefox. If it'll let me. I think I'm running out of memory. Things slow down. Here we go. So I'll just switch Windows to Firefox. And I can dive into Twitter. So then in Twitter on my profile, so that's twitter.com/fluid7, you can see these two links, following and followers. And if you clicked on who I am following, you can browse through this list of people. So I've picked these up from being in conversations with people, being pointed at people in the space, and now I'm following all these. I get their messages coming into my Twitter feed, and then from that I can sometimes catch people talking about an airdrop or an opportunity that comes up, and that's the ones that then I'll report on to you guys. But you can certainly start doing that yourself, start following some of these projects. And typically any of these projects will have a link tree, or they'll on their website they'll have their socials listed, and so you can then find out what their Twitter feeds are and go and follow them. And if you know of projects that are launching, haven't done an airdrop yet, and are talking about doing a token or an ISPO, then that can be the ones to pay attention to and just see if you can get in before they actually do their marketing efforts and engagement efforts. And that's where the opportunities might crop up to give you, something that only people who are following them have access to. And so that's a technique you can do to just try and monitor the space, keep an eye on it. Does that help?
That's great. Thanks, Jonathan.
No worries. So any other topics you want covered? Any other questions?
I suppose what's the next?
Yeah.
Sorry, finish that off. It's you, Paul. Say again.
What's the next process with a starter for us all?
That's the thing I wanted to ask as well.
Cool. Yeah. So Astarter. Now we've gathered the full amount of allocations from all the participants in the opportunity. In fact, let me show you that wallet address on. Can I share my screen? No, still can't share my screen. I have to do window at a time, which is where the complexity lies. So if you go into pool.pm, the way that I find the Treasury wallet is by going to Fluid, Pool, clicking on the total balance that's delegated to Fluid Pool, which we're up to 500,000 now, which is very exciting. Thank you all to delegation. That's 65 delegators. So this sort of level of delegation, we should mint blocks every 3 weeks, something like that. Yeah, maybe not quite that. Maybe it's 4 weeks, but that's very healthy. And then this largest delegator is actually the Astarter Treasury wallet. So we'll be using this wallet to pay over to Astarter to receive AA tokens every month for the next 18 months. And that we got the agreement signed, or the agreement to sign from them this morning, which I haven't managed to read because we asked for some amendments to it for the way that we're particularly forming our investment. So I'll review that with Luca over the weekend, probably get that signed, and then we'll actually make the transaction out of this wallet to Astarter, and then we'll be off to the races, waiting for their token generation event, which is due. Well, it was due this month. There's only 10 days left in it, so we'll see if they get it done in time. But certainly we're sneaking in at the very last minute to become a partner pool. And once we're a partner pool with Astarter, we'll get a marketing piece put onto their blog, their Medium blog, I think it is, and and a bit of promotional material on their socials as well. So we'll hopefully see a little bit of bump of interest in the Fluid Pool from that too. If anybody is interested in looking at the wallet itself, you can actually, I'll need to send you an extended link to this, so it'll work for me because I've already loaded in the address. No, it's not even available to me. So this opportunitydao.fluid7.com is a hosted version of the multi-signature wallet that's called Roundtable. Roundtable was built by the ADAO community, and so this multi-signature wallet is what we're making use of to form our treasury wallet for the Astarter opportunity. So to actually load the wallet in, you have to know the formation of the wallet. It's an exact way of forming the wallet in terms of which signatures, which witnesses are in there, and so Paul, you'll have it in your wallet. Nobody else will, and I'll have to re-import it to show it to you here. But that then loads in the data that lets you then look at the transactions, look at the native scripts that are controlling that wallet, and see what the formation is. And then if you have the power to sign transactions, so the 5 witnesses will have power to sign transactions, then you'll actually be able to form transactions that can send money out of the treasury. For that to work, you need to have 3 witnesses sign. So no one of us can actually control the treasury. It needs at least 3 of us to be able to make any changes. And actually, something of note that's interest here, if you look at the query URI that this wallet is using, you can see that the address is GraphQL, which is a mechanism within the Cardano ecosystem for querying the blockchain. Using GraphQL, which is a query language, which is familiar outside of Cardano, and makes it easy to form questions of what's on the blockchain. This is the mainnet branch, and then you can see the trailing end of that domain is dandelion.link. So this is actually running on the free tier of the Dandelion service, which was built by Gimbal Labs as well. So Roberto, who's a Cardano ambassador and a founder of Gimbal Labs, wrote the Dandelion infrastructure scripts that let you actually host your own Dandelion node that you can then run GraphQL structures on, things like that. So this wallet is a community wallet built by the community. The infrastructure it's running on is a community infrastructure project that was built by the community, and so this is all building on top of the core blockchain, but giving us a whole lot more functionality that we wouldn't have directly from IOG. So it just shows that the collaborative nature of the ecosystem is really starting to yield results for DAOs and people who are participating. And so we've called our DAO Opportunity DAO, and our first opportunity is this Astarter one, where we got access to the free private sale because of Fluid Pool's relationship with the stake pool operator network. We'll actually get access to the private sale for Astarter. So you can actually look at Astarter directly as well. The core team behind Astarter is based in the East. Emergo is also based in the East, and so there's a lot of Asian employees, and their branding, their marketing is certainly got a sort of Eastern flavor to it. And this is me looking at it from a web developer's eye, but you can see the list of partners. And so once we've got this contract signed and we're actually participating in that in this token sale, then we'll get ourselves listed on the website as well, which is very cool. So these guys are all great ones to follow. Ada for Good, that's Vahid. He runs a stake pool. Rich from Earncoin Pool is XSPO ambassador. So he's a guy I've interacted with a lot to help with our exposure within XSPO. George from Apex Pool is a very good infrastructure guy. He runs infrastructure that a lot of people test their wallets and their dApps on. Giovanni from Easy Pool is another great guy that I've collaborated with on some Catalyst Swarm projects. An Italian living in Ireland. And he helped me develop the ecosystem map proof of concept, which I've shown you in the past. And so, yeah, there's a whole load of really good people in the network, in the community, developer community, stake pool community, who are participating with Astarter. So that gave me a lot of confidence in Astarter's intentions, that they've made the effort to go and find people to interact with who are community level, not just at the sort of large corporate or YouTuber level, which they're also interacting with as well. But yeah, these are all grassroots type of people. And again, you add a pools in this list of high-level partners as well. Coty, of course, are the ones who are releasing JED this month, which is the algorithmic collateralized stablecoin built on Cardano. That is, yeah, maybe perhaps an opportunity you want to take a look at as well. The JED token will be a stable token, but behind it there is a 4 to 8 times collateralized infrastructure, and you can take part by offering ADA into that platform, or even offering Shen, minting Shen, which is going to be a highly volatile token that assures that the ADA JED portion of that setup is stable. So you'll have volatility on the Shen side and stability on the JED ADA side. But if you're looking at your opportunities, you think the token is going to do well and the ecosystem is going to grow, then you can buy into the Shen token. As also, just looking at it from a higher point of view, you could just invest in Coty themselves, who they run their own blockchain that's not Cardano, but they've been trusted because they have a very regulated way of operating. They do full KYC, have done from the very inception with anybody who participates in their blockchain. They have built out technology for other chains already, and so IOG chose Coty to be the guys to build out their design, their algorithm for a stable coin. And so Coty are the ones who built that coin, so they are going to benefit from its adoption and its growth. So you could get some Coty tokens, and they are available on either on the Coty network or on Cardano as well, I believe. Doubting myself now. So yeah, another token you could perhaps look at, do some due diligence on, because I think that's going to do well. And I have some myself already, so I'm happy to say that's what I'm doing. Don't treat it as advice, just opinion. But yeah, Astarter, have a look at those guys. I'm sure you have already, but they'll be releasing more information as we go through, and then hopefully we'll have Fluid Pool sitting on this page before long, and I post on their Discord, on their Medium blog. Anything else you want me to have a quick run through?
I've just got another question, Jonathan, about the vesting period. So for the 18 months, we just have to leave our ADA, not the ADA that we've transferred for Astarter, but the ADA that's currently in the Fluid 7 staking pool. We just have to leave that for 18 months as well. Is that correct?
Yes. So that's not mandatory, but if you want to earn the most possible AA tokens, then yeah, keeping some ADA staked to Fluid Pool will be a multiplier, or you have to have some at least, but the more you have, it'll act as a multiplier in your calculations for how much AA tokens you receive as a bonus on top of the ones we've actually bought. So that's called a merge staking protocol. And so yeah, if over the 18 months, if you've got ADA in Fluid Pool, you'll be getting a multiplier on your AA tokens that you get back. this is the first time this has been tried by anybody, so it's really designed from the ground up by the Astarter team in collaboration with Vahid from XSPO, Ada for Good. He's worked with them to really make sure that the stake pools are benefiting from this ISPO, as well as the platforms, the projects launching their tokens, because the damage to the network in the past has actually been done by ISPOs. So, for example, in the Sunday Swap ISPO, a whole load of ADA moved from small community pools into the large successful ones, who were typically run by YouTubers who also had multiple pools, and so that created an accumulation of ADA in fewer participants in the network, which is a move away from decentralization towards centralization. So the more people that are related, maybe in the same country, holding more and more of the ADA, that means that it's got a higher chance of being coerced or manipulated or stamped on by a particular nation state, and that's what we want to try and avoid. That's the idea behind decentralization.
Yeah, great.
Jonathan,
Now with this 18-month. Oh,
now. Sorry. Yeah, and you have all good weekend. Thank you, Jonathan.
Okay, no problem. Cheers, Jaya. See you later. See you soon. Sorry, Archie. Finish off.
Jonathan, when does the 18 months start from?
So the 18 months will start counting from their token generation event, which is where they actually mint the tokens on chain. That is supposed to happen this month, so within the next 10 days. I'm not 100% sure if they're all got their ducks in a row. We'll be catching up with the team again this week. But last week they said everything was in order, so that should be happening pretty soon, and then it'll follow 18 months from that date. And each month we'll get an allocation sent back to the Treasury wallet, which we'll then distribute out to all the participants. So it could be, within sort of 40, 50 days, you'll have some AA tokens in your wallet that you can then go and see what's available to participate in elsewhere. So I think those AA tokens that do get released to you following the investment period will be usable straight away, so you don't have to have them in the wallet for them to take part in the merge staking. I think it'll just be the ones that are actually still vested, so you don't have access to them. I think they're the ones that we used in the calculations, but I'll double check that because I think that's correct. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. And you'll let us know then, Jonathan, the date that it actually officially launches.
Yeah, certainly.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I'm hanging on their socials, looking for any news as well. It's an exciting time in the space. There's lots going on, lots of new projects launching, and the bubble from this last, the bubbling up of activity from this last little pump in the markets has been nice to see. Sort of lifted everyone's spirits a bit after that long, depressing fall down into the bear market. And
I have to say, it was so encouraging to see because I bought the GNS shares.
Oh yeah, me too.
Well, so it was so encouraging to see those going up as well.
Yeah.
I only wish I bought when they were down at 0.3.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Would have been nice to have known the activity that was coming, but that's the markets for you. You never know.
Yes, exactly. I have to say, I was a little bit nervous. I thought, crikey, because it stayed down there for so long. And I thought, is it going to recover?
Yeah.
So it was like I didn't have the courage to go and buy any more, even though I was very tempted. And I wish I had now.
Yeah, of course. There's always regrets, but you're in it already, so we'll see where it goes from here. And,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's positive. It's been good to see the Genius U activity picking up as well recently, with getting back on webinars and Roger's doing his YouTube videos again. And he started to fight the shorting that's been running against him. So yeah, it's good to see.
Exactly. Yeah, no, I think it's great, actually. Really encouraging to see.
Yeah. Good. So was there anything I didn't cover that I said I was going to. Because I have customers clamoring at my doors, wanting some attention. So we might drop off a little early today. Unless anybody's got any last minute questions. Hi Benny, not spoken to you yet, but good to see you here.
As always next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, Jonathan. I'll try connecting the smart claims to my Eternl wallet as well, but I'll catch up some of the time.
Okay. Yeah. I'll get this video posted. You can go back through it as well and watch. And I think
Yeah,
there's some I think there's some previous videos as well that probably detail. Maybe actually that might be just for DripDrop, but yeah, we'll get this up there and you can have a look too. Always good to have a bit of reference. But yeah, thanks for joining, everyone.
Thank you.
Have good weeks.
Yeah, thanks, Jonathan. Yeah, have a good weekend.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
See you all soon.
Have a good week, everyone. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.